Huge thanks to Surfshark for sponsoring this video. It's a good one, as I'll be presenting you with my design proposal for resurrection of the legendary 757. Prepare yourselves. Hey everyone, my name is Scott. I write a quirky little blog called SANspotter.com, and I've got a quick question for you. On a scale of 1 to 10, how triggered do you get when you see a thread over on airliners.net or Twitter about how awesome it would be if Boeing would bring back the 757? If you're in the 1 to 3 category, I think you're really going to like the design proposal that I'll be discussing in this video. For those of you who are a 4 to 7, all I ask is that you have a little mercy on me. After all, I'm just a grounded airline reviewer struggling to come up with ideas, and, well, I guess this is just a lame and desperate attempt to stay relevant. Finally, if you fall in the 8 to 10 range, do yourself a favor and click away from this video as fast as possible. Then, go find a cat to play with. This video will likely do very bad things to your blood pressure, so don't say that I didn't warn you. Look, I'm not saying that the 757 should return. It's just really hard for me to resist the urge to create a design concept of my own. Whether it triggers the aviation community or not, I'm going there. So, yeah. After years and years of reading heated discussions about whether or not Boeing should bring back the 757, decided to roll up my sleeves and contribute to that madness. With visuals, of course. Even though I know absolutely nothing about aerodynamics and aerospace engineering, I do have a 3D model of a 757 to work from. That should be enough to make it seem like I know what I'm talking about, right? My plan is to redesign core elements of the existing 757 to bring them up to modern standards. For example, as much as I'd love to modernize the nose, I'm not going to touch the fuselage. It wouldn't be a 757 anymore if I reshaped it, so let's focus on other key elements that desperately need updating. The wings, the engines, and the vertical stabilizer. I might even see what I can do with the horizontal stabilizer as well. Maybe. Anyway, I do sound like I know what I'm talking about so far, right? Just checking. Those of you who are sick of me and my cheesy attempts to make quality commercial aviation content, I've got good news. It's fairly easy to make me disappear using Surfshark. Long story short, according to my analytics, my content is shown to people in the US mostly. Therefore, if you use Surfshark, you can virtually change your location to another country and I'll be gone from your feed for good. I'd recommend switching to Moldova. My stats show only one visitor from Moldova over the past 30 days, so I'd like to think that you'd be totally safe choosing that. Not only can you make me completely disappear using Surfshark, you'll get the added benefit of using an award-winning VPN that will protect you from cyber threats of all kinds. It's a total win-win. Anyway, by using the link in the description below and using the promo code SCOTT, you'll get access to Surfshark and all of its amazing privacy tools for 83% off what you'd normally pay. Plus, you'll get an extra 3 months added on for free. Shout out to that one person from Moldova who watched one of my videos, by the way. Arguably, the most important upgrade for a modern Boeing 757 would be an all-new wing. The original was designed in the late 1970s, and, as we all know, there's not much from the late 1970s that's worth keeping. No offense to anyone born in 1978, of course. Anyway, I'm assuming that a redesigned 757 would be an aircraft ideal for long and thin routes. Therefore, the wing needs to be longer, wider, and far more efficient than the current design. Throw a sexy blended winglet on it and dang, look at me go. This is basically an Airbus-style winglet, I know, but I really like the look of an exaggerated winglet design that accentuates the overall wingspan. Next up are the engines. Hydrogen-powered, perhaps? Sure, whatever. All I know is that I want them bigger than the previous Pratt & Whitney option, only because it looks cool. I went back and forth on the idea of adding chevrons to the engine design, and ultimately, I couldn't decide if it looked better with or without them. This is a design decision that literally can only be made by a rocket scientist, of course, so I'm not going to worry too much about it. Oh, here's an idea. What if there were smaller auxiliary electric motors attached under the wing to assist the main fuel-powered engines? That would essentially make this a hybrid design, kind of like a Toyota Oh, wait, sorry. Bad idea, sorry. Next up in this Boeing 757 modernization is the vertical stabilizer. The current one is far too short and stubby to be efficient on the long and thin routes that a 757-8 would be flying. There I go again, talking like I'm an expert or something. The honest truth is that I just want it to look better. Not only that, who's to say that my design proposal isn't anywhere near as efficient as the current design? And that it would snap off like a twig on its maiden voyage, and that I'd be sued for designing unsafe products. I'd lose my home, life savings, and any credibility that I have left as an aviation YouTuber. Mom and Dad, if you're watching, you might want to get that spare bedroom ready. Okay then, moving right along, I think I've pretty much covered everything. I'm going to leave the landing gear alone, and I don't think there are too many other details that are worth redesigning from scratch. Other than pushing and pulling a few vertices here and there, I think I've accomplished my goal. Are you ready for the grand reveal? If there's one thing that I'm not, it's a showman. Therefore, I present to you the all-new Boeing 757-8 without techno music, fireworks, or distracting fanfare. Ta-da! To be honest, I kind of like the idea of a revitalized 757. Even though I don't think Boeing should or will do something like this, it's fun to put a creative hat on and give new life to objects well past their prime. Unfortunately, there's only so much that can be done with an old airframe such as this, and pushing this design any further would be more effort than it's worth. I do believe that Boeing needs a 757-like aircraft in its lineup, but throwing lipstick on a pig like I did in this video is not the way to go about it. In other words, I just spent 2 weeks in Maya and Photoshop only to tell you that I've wasted 2 weeks in Maya and Photoshop to make a design for an aircraft that shouldn't even be built. Or something like that. One thing I am very sure about, however, is the sheer awesomeness of my patrons. For example, my buddy Mark from SwissDayTours.com has turned his expert-level knowledge of Switzerland into a thriving tour business. Seriously, if you want to experience Switzerland like you've never experienced it before, Mark is your guy. Then there's Neil from the Moment in the Sky YouTube channel. He's the guy to get advice from on how to actually get to Switzerland to see Mark. His reviews are extremely entertaining and informative, and just how cool would it be if we can be on the last ever 757 flight together? To the rest of my patrons, thanks so much, and of course, I'd love the opportunity to fly on a 757 with any of you. Just as long as you don't let other people know that I'm fanning the flames on the issue of keeping the 757 alive. It'll be our little secret. Anyway, the 4 people who stuck around to the end of my last video are probably very sorry that they did. So, even though nobody is listening this time, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.